Yeah, I mean, honestly, we're fortunate at our facility. We've got about a 45-yard turf straightaway.
Oh,
We
very
do a
cool.
lot of classic, like 300-yard shuttles. We'll use the slide board. We've got battling ropes, kettlebells, medicine ball throws. We've got two 20-foot wide walls to do that. A lot of metabolic resistance training, stuff like that. So, we have boot camps that run every morning. So it's a nice variety for folks. Jump rope even still. We use that a little bit, not a ton, but I'd say that it tends to be a lot more sprint work than anything else.
Yeah. So with the type of conditioning you do, is it sprint style? Everything's always go hard for 30, 60, 90
Yeah.
seconds and then kind of rest period 2-to-1 ratio, something like that?
I think it varies. You can do a little bit of everything. Like I use the erg myself, the rowing machine, and I might do
I
anything
love
from
rower.
yeah, like anywhere from a 300-meter sprint, which might be about a minute, up to a 2,000-meter time trial, which is like 8 minutes of pure hell.
Right.
So I think it depends on the modality, but I'd say most of the work intervals are longer than 15 seconds and under a minute, and they may be batched up 1-1 work rest, or maybe even 2-to-1, something like that.
Sure. Sure, that sounds like a similar approach to what
Yeah,
I've. So it sounds like you've taken a lot of the functional conditioning exercises, eliminated most of the ones that you consider potentially hazardous, and kind
yeah.
of just put them into a bunch of different modalities that people can use to have fun, but also work on their movement patterns at the same time. Does that sound correct?
Yeah, absolutely. And I think with a book like this, I mean, really, what we've tried to do is we've tried to teach people that what you do to get from complete beginner to the intermediate stage is going to be different than what you need to do to go from intermediate to advanced. And a
Right.
program needs to be versatile enough to accommodate your goals. So we talk a lot about, hey, we've got programs for people who want to lose body fat, people who want to put on muscle mass, people who just want to get stronger. And a lot of times the lifting component stays largely the same, and what changes is the metabolic conditioning stuff that really accompanies it. So it's what you do as a
Right.
as a supplement to it. You use the gym to get strong and get more powerful. You don't use the gym necessarily to condition. So I think you create a program that gives some wiggle room on stuff like that. And people can basically customize things to their goals.
I recently got an Airdyne, and I absolutely love that thing. Have
We
you
use
have
those
you
too.
tried the Airdynes?
Yeah, we've got one in our facility. It's pretty brutal.
It's me. I had a knee surgery a few weeks back, and so I was like, I need a bike. I need something I can cycle on, and I just love that thing now.
They can be pretty miserable too. I think the rower probably still beats it, but the good thing
Yeah.
about the airline, the saving grace for it is you actually do get better at the airdyne. I feel like no matter how much I erg, I still hate it just as much and still feel just as worthless. And the worst part is my wife is actually she was the captain of her college crew team. She's like 5'3", and her 2,000-meter time trial is like as good as mine. And I'm like 5'8.5". I've got like a 660 deadlift. I should be blowing her out of the water, and she's just more efficient at it. So I get basically reminded of that all the time.
It's wow, that's so funny. The first time I pulled under 330 on 1,000, I physically blacked out after my
Yeah.
workout. I mean, it's so exhausting. It's
And the
wild.
worst part is like that's like literally like 40 seconds I think off of a world record. Like if you look at the time trial, like
Yeah.
just to put up mediocre numbers, we're killing ourselves. It's pretty sad.
That's so fun. So I got a question. One more question
Yeah.
about training, then we'll kind of dig into this new
Yeah.
program you got going and how you guys help people customize their workouts. So, in your mind, what is more important to you? Is it strength or is it conditioning for most
Yeah.
people?
For most people, I think conditioning is what gets you lean, but at the end of the day, strength is what sustains you for your life.
Sure.
Because conditioning is a heavy function of strength endurance, and if you don't have strength, you can't have strength endurance. So
Right.
strength is that foundation for power, which we know falls off dramatically as people age. It's a foundation for muscle mass. It's a foundation for a lot of athletic qualities and qualities that we need in our activities of daily living to be successful and healthy long term. So, if you could just give me one or the other, I'd take strength, assuming it's strength that's put on top of movement quality. Now, obviously, the exception might be if you have an elite triathlete or something like that.
Right, right.
For the most part, I think strength's the one to go with.
I get that undertone though that you're kind of saying, strength is the one to go with, but movement is king
Yeah,
here.
yeah. Yeah, I mean, movement is definitely king, but it's, like I said, they're not mutually exclusive. You can have both. I know a lot of really strong people who move well, and that's why they've been able to, train for a long time. Like really not had any significant injuries in spite of the fact that I've been, lifting heavy, for coming up on 15, 16 years now. So it's, if you learn to move well and you don't lose those patterns, you definitely load up for a considerable amount of time as long as you apply stress correctly.
Yeah, my dumb ass thought I was a gymnast last year and blew my knee out. I'm 6'1", 210, so that was just like, why did I do that? But
Hindsight's always 20/20, isn't it?
you get smarter as you get older. I say the older
Yeah.
I get, the more I realize the less that I know, right?
I always tell people the older I get, the better of an athlete I used to be.
That's good, Eric. So tell us, so you have a new program coming out. It's all about how you can help people customize their workouts based on their
Yeah.
particular goals and meeting them where they're at. That's so important. I'm such a huge fan of that because everything I do is scaled based on where you should start. We want to start people at these basic movement patterns and move them to more complex ones. So how does this program work? How does it benefit people?
Absolutely. Yeah. So it's 100% online. It's a purely digital thing. So, basically when people purchase the product, they can actually go and be walked through this multifaceted assessment where, they learn about where's your core positioning, where's your laxity level. And then, obviously we talk also about, what's your schedule allow? Can you
Right.
strength train twice a week, 3 times a week, 4 times a week? What are your goals? And really, there are all these different things that you can select within that program to make it a good fit for you. So maybe you lift 3 days a week and you do a program that's a little bit more geared towards someone who is very, very stiff. So you need extra mobility work, and you want to do fat loss. So you've got some supplemental conditioning that accommodates that. So it gives you the wiggle room to make that happen. What I think is kind of the hidden benefit of this program is we've got over 200 exercises that are included over the course of the 4-month program. And there's literally an exercise tutorial on every single one of them. So, each one of those goes over a minute. So you're literally looking at like a 3.5-hour seminar of exercise coaching
Sure.
tutorials for people who want to learn new exercises, learn how those exercises are supposed to be executed. So it's a pretty cool research on that front, and also have a lot of accompanying bonuses and some cool stuff that goes along with it, and a great nutrition guide that accompanies the gold package is what we called it. So there's definitely some cool stuff available for folks.
So it sounds like it's a really comprehensive program for people who don't just want like the cookie cutter follow along to these 5 workouts kind of thing. It sounds like you guys are really trying to customize their experience the same way you do at your facility.
Absolutely. That's a huge part of it. You're never going to get a true replacement for being there in person, but we want to at least give you an opportunity to get at least close to that and start to live in that world a little bit. So yeah, comprehensive was a goal. We're not guys that are putting out a new program every month. Like, this is something that's been I've stewed upon for the last couple of years, and
Sure.
as my wife can attest, I've had way too many late nights getting it ready. So
Yeah.
proud of where it wound up.
What's the name of the program?
It's called the High Performance Handbook.
High Performance Handbook. I will definitely put a link below the show notes. And if you guys are interested in some real deal training, be sure to check that out. And by the way, Eric, I've done 100 exercise video library with one of my programs. And so I have a lot of respect for the multiple hundred exercise. It's a lot of work, man.
Absolutely. I've done it way too many times before. This time I was smart. I actually called into action a couple of our interns, and I did the voiceovers while they did the demonstrations. So I've learned my lessons.
Oh, man, it's a lot of work, man. So I got one more question for you.
Sure, what's that?
I always like to ask people this question. Obviously, you're a very successful trainer. Professional athletes seek you out. Normal people seek you out. You've got popular programs, a popular blog as well. What's your secret to success, my man?
I think the harder you work, the better your luck seems to get. And honestly, for me, it doesn't feel like hard work. I really do love what I do.
Sure.
I get to work with great people. So I think that at the end of the day, you just got to pick something that you really enjoy doing, because then you can just bust your butt and it won't feel hard. And that's kind of the biggest thing for me is I have a really cool job, and it makes my days exciting from the time I wake up to the time I go to bed.
That's fantastic, man.
Yeah.
Live your passion, and you definitely are a passionate person, Eric. Thank you so much for your time today. I really appreciate you coming on the call.
You got it. Thanks for having me.